Hello, I'm Annabella from Write the World, a nonprofit organization dedicated to equipping teens with the confidence and competence to change the world, one word at a time. In this video, we have compiled a ton of short story examples. We asked our community to share an excerpt from a short story they love or one they've written, what makes it a great example to read, and where you can go to read the full story. I hope these examples inspire you in your own writing. Enjoy!
Hello, I'm Sarah Moss from the United States, and this is an excerpt from Evening Primrose by John Collier. In a pad of High Life Bond bought by Miss Sadie Broadrib at Bracey's for $25. February 21st. Today I made my decision. I would turn my back for good and all upon the bourgeois world that hates a poet. I would leave, get out, break away. And I have done it. I am free, free as the mote that dances in the sunbeam, free as a housefly crossing first class in the Queen Mary, free as my verse, free as the food I shall eat, the paper I write upon, the lamb's wool-lined, softly slithering slippers I shall wear. This morning I had not so much as a car fare. Now I am here on velvet. You are itching to learn of this haven. You would like to organize trips here, spoil it, send your relations in-law, perhaps even come yourself. After all, this journal will hardly fall into your hands till I am dead. I'll tell you. I am at Bracey's giant emporium, as happy as a mouse in the middle of an immense cheese, and the world shall know me no more. I chose this story because I love how the epistolary structure plays into the narrative, and I love the startling imagery that provides this eeriness to the entire story. Get the link to the full story in the description below.
Hello, I'm Angelica from Mexico. This is an excerpt from Button Button by Richard Matheson. If you push the button, Mr. Stewart told him, somewhere in the world someone you don't know will die, in return for which you will receive a payment of $50,000. Norma stared at the small man. He was smiling. What are you talking about? Arthur asked him. Mr. Stewart looked surprised. But I've just explained, he said. Is this a practical joke? Asked Arthur. Not at all. The offer is completely genuine. You aren't making sense, Arthur said. You expect us to believe? Whom do you represent? Demanded Norma. Mr. Stewart looked embarrassed. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to tell you that, he said. However, I assure you, the organization is of international scope. I chose this story because, beyond being a criticism of a money-driven society, it makes us ask ourselves if we really know the people we say we do. Do we know them as well? How much do we not? Get the link to the full story in the description below.
Hello, I'm Emily from Australia. This is an excerpt from Audition by Emily Brown. From outside the school hall, you wait. You are not alone. There are a handful of other children waiting as well. Some chatter excitedly. Some are pale as stripped paperbark. You are somewhere in the middle, too nervous to talk, too hopeful to sit still. Your leg bounces up and down on the pavement as you race through your stretches for a second time. The scholarship can only be given to one person, and every one of the children here deserves it, you know. But that doesn't change how much you hope it will be you. I chose this story because I think it is very relatable to a lot of people, and storytelling for me has always been a way to capture the difficult things in life, to make an adventure out of them, to put them in words. And another reason I really like this story is because it's not in first person, which is I or me, or in third person, which is he, she, and they. It's in second person, which means that you are the one living the story. You, as the reader, are put straight into the action, and I think that's really cool. You can find the link to the full story in the description below.
Before we keep going with more examples, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more videos on how to become a better writer. As a nonprofit, every interaction helps us reach more viewers and pursue our mission to develop teenagers' writing and critical thinking skills. Learn more about our mission at the link above.
Hello, my name is Anastasia Sankovic. I'm from Belarus, living in the US. This is an excerpt from Jack in the Box by Ray Bradbury. From the highest stair, he gazed down through 4 intervals of universe. lowlands of kitchen, dining room, parlor, to middle countries of music, games, pictures, and locked forbidden rooms. And here he whirled, the highlands of picnics, adventure, and learning. Here he roamed, idled, or sat singing lonely child songs on the winding journey to school. This, then, was the universe. Father, or God, his mother often called him, had raised its mountains of whale-papered plaster long ago. This was Father God's creation, in which stars blazed at the flick of a switch, and the sun was Mother, and Mother was the sun, about which all the world swung, churning. And Edwin, a small dark meteor, spun around through the dark carpets and shimmering tapestries of space. You saw him rise to vanish on vast comet staircases, on hikes and explorations. I chose this story because of the way it utilizes description to build the narrative, point of view, and theme. The entire narrative hinges on the perspective of the character, revealed masterfully with his voice and decadent and dreamy description throughout the short story.
Hello, I'm Sol from the United States. This is an excerpt from the Canterbury Tales, specifically the Knight's Tale from Chaucer's writing. I know not which was the fairer of the two. Before the dawn, as was her wont to do, she rose and dressed her body for the light, for May will have no sluggards of the night. That season rouses every gentle heart, and forces it from the winter sleep to start, saying, "Arise and show thy reverence." So Emily remembered to go dance, in honor of the May, and so she rose. Closed, she was sweeter than any flower that blows. Her yellow hair was braided in one tress behind her back, a full yard long, I guess. And in the garden, as the sun uprose, she sauntered back and forth and drew each close, gathering many a flower, white and red, to weave a delicate garland for her head. And like a heavenly angel's was her song, the tower tall, which was so thick and strong, as the castle was the great donjon. I chose the story because of its rich diction and imagery that was braided and woven throughout the piece. Faint humor and steady cadences also drew me in instantly. Get the link to the full story below in the description below.
Hello, I'm Kosi Sochukwu from Nigeria and the UK. This is an excerpt from Charms to Meet You by Coco. And as words tumbled out and the mac and cheese grew cold, Ben's face didn't change. So relaxed, so calm, like nothing in the world would ever shake it. She told him more things over the weeks, then years, then decades. Somehow she never found him irrelevant or as silly as the rest, since it was him that taught her how to confront that fear, which came from a single one of his kisses. A half-fae and imp met one day, shrouded by darkness's cloak, but soon they chose to embrace that fabric, wrapped in the stars' home. The half-fae was regal and quite loud, but the imp enjoyed her temper. Maybe that was why the stars allowed caper after caper after caper. I chose the story because it features one of my favorite character archetypes that I love to write, the trickster. Every line of dialogue always makes me laugh. Get the link to the full story in the description below.
Hello, I'm Srinidhi from the United States. This is an excerpt from The Last Grand Tour of Albertine's Watch by Sandra K. Barnage. The smell is always the first thing the tourists notice, and it usually takes them an hour or two to adjust, if they ever do at all. It's unmistakable. Raw sewage baking in the mid-morning sun, seeping and solidifying into every crack, every seam, every hole of our town. It's so bad now that even if the water did retreat back into the Gulf, which it won't, but even if, we still couldn't save Albertine's Watch. No bureaucrat or journalist has told us this. We just know it the way we know there's no one coming to help us. Not anymore. I I chose this story because reading it feels like seeing the future come to life. The story of Albertine's watch could be another town's, another city's. It could be our story one day. And I think that notion is really quite humbling and perhaps a little daunting. If you enjoyed this excerpt, get the link to the full story in the description below.
Feeling inspired to write your own short story? Teens can join and explore Write the World to connect with a community of other young writers from around the world. And here's a question for you. Which short story was your favorite? Share your favorite stories in the comments, and while you're there, please leave a like and hit subscribe to see more of our videos. We can't wait to see what you'll write.